this session, we are going to see all collections available in Hive, and we will see the practical example of these collections in our Hive table. So let's see what all collections type available in our Hive. So there are three types of collections available in Hive. The first one is array, the second one is map, and the third one is struct. As we know, in a relational database, I mean in our traditional databases like SQL, if we wanted to insert multiple email addresses in one column, then it is not there, and you have to enter multiple email addresses in your different columns. But Hive provides the functionality where you can insert multiple email addresses in one column using the map collection that is used with key value pair. Then we have the struct keyword. The struct is a collection when you wanted to insert your, let's say, address. You have street number, city, state, zip. So how you can enter these things in one column. To resolve these things, you have the struct type that is available for these kind of queries. And array is just like array, you can have multiple integer values in one column, just like age, salary, or any other integer value you wanted to store in one column, let's say comma separated or any kind of separation you wanted, but you wanted to store multiple values. So that's why array is available to insert that. So we have these three types of collection available in Hive. So let's see how we can implement these collections in our Hive queries. So now I have moved to my Hive terminal. So let's see how we can create our query using these collections. So as we have seen, we have struct type, we have array type, and we have map type. So I have defined a table in which I have used all three. So I have the struct type where I have used first name and last name. So it works like the first name, then what is the type of that, the data type. The similar way in an address, like I have street, city, state, zip code. So all things how you can enter in one column. Then I have array which is defined in int format. And the last one is map. It works on the key value pair. I have string, and you can take like integer, boolean value to define this, anything as you wanted. And then in the simpler way, row format, delimited, field terminated by pipe symbol. So my data would be separated by pipe. Then there is a difference in normal table and where the collection is used. I have two more lines just like collection item terminated by comma. So I have defined that my collections just like struct or array or map, it is separated by comma, like first name comma last name, like street comma city comma state comma zip code, and then the map key terminated by colon. So this is how you can define your table schema with collection type that is available in Hive. So let me use this query to create my table. So let me use this as customer 21. So my table is customer 21. I'm copying this query now I am moving to my Hive terminal. So now I am moving to my Hive terminal. This is my Hive. Let me copy my table over here and just try to execute so that my table is created. I just right click, paste my query. So once I paste my query, let's press enter. Now you can see it has displayed OK. So my table is created. Let me see, select star from customer 21. So now you can see it is not displaying any record because it is a new table and it doesn't have any value to show. If you wanted to describe your table, like if you wanted to see the schema of your table, you can use describe, that is DESC, or describe completely, and the table name customer 21. Now you can see my schema has ID, then name, that is first name and last name, then I have address that has street number, city, state and zip code. Then I have the area number. You could take anything. I have taken an area number so that I can define multiple integer values. And then I have map, will be used for multiple email addresses. It takes two arguments like key value, string, and what is the value of that, like string and int. Now let me show you the data, how this data would be inserted in my table. So this was our table. Let me show you the data. I have created this data, that is, the first column is ID, then I have the pipe separator which is used like this because I have terminated the field by pipe symbol. So I have used pipe, then I have used first name, last name, then again pipe, then this is my address like city, state, zip code, and then I have again a pipe symbol and I have defined the area number. This is what I have defined here, area number as array. So I have taken three integer value separated by comma. Then I have two email addresses. I have defined here as two email addresses so that my column should show multiple email addresses using the map collection. So let's insert this value so that we can see how it is displayed in table. Let's save this one and let me copy this line, load data local in path, then the path of the file. You can exactly take the path as we have already defined in our earlier sessions. Then overwrite is the keyword if you wanted to overwrite your last inserted data, and it will overwrite that. It means you are not appending your data. Every time you execute this command, it will insert new data in your table. Then table name. Let me copy this query and I'm again on my Hive terminal. I have pasted my record. So let's insert this. So now my query is saying OK. So let's execute our query again. Select star from customer 21. I have not taken from, so that's why it is displaying error. Select star from customer 21. It seems I have loaded the data into another table. My table is 21 and I had loaded my data in customer 1. That's why it has not displayed. So let's load again and now I'm querying again. Now you can see my data is loaded successfully and it is displaying. So my ID is this, first name and last name, then the complete address, then the map, that is area number, and then the multiple email addresses. This is how you can enter your multiple values in one column using the different Hive collections. So this was our table where I have used multiple collections, and this is our data how we have inserted in our table. So in this session we have seen how we can create the columns with our collection type, and how and what is the data which we enter in our Hive collection table. In this session we are going to see what is the difference between insert into command and insert override command. So we will see what is the difference by using these two queries in our Hive. Let's say I have one table T1 and I'm going to use both these commands in this table so that we can see the difference. So let's see, I have a table T1. Select star from T1. In T1 I have only one record, that is 2 and Sam. If I wanted to see the schema of my table, you can use DESC T1. So I have ID and name in my T1 table. So let's first use insert into command. Basically, insert into command is used to load a data into our table. So simply you use insert into, then table name. Let's say my table name is T1, then values, and after that values according to the schema. So my schema is ID and name. So let's say ID and name is string type. So in double quotes I am giving my name. So I have executed this query. So insert into is the command by which you are inserting your values in your table. So it would get appended in the table. So whatever is the values earlier in the table is there, it would be there, and it will insert a new value. So you can say it is appending the values in the table in which, if we are using insert into command. So I have used insert into and my mapper and reducer job is executed successfully. So let's see if I have entered the record that is inserted in the query or not. Select star from T1. So earlier I have only one record. Now I have one more record, that is ID 1 and name Ajay. So insert into is the command to insert a query, insert a record in the table, and our other task is what is insert override command. Insert override is the command, or you can say it is a query which override the existing data that is available in our table. So if I wanted to execute insert override in my T1 table, so this data would get override by some other data that I will give the reference. So let's say I am using the override command. So let's see the query. So this is my query in which I have used insert override, then table. My table is T1 and I am using a reference from other table from which I am inserting the value in my T1 table. So select ID and name from, let's say I am taking T3 table. So whatever values are there in T3, that would get inserted in T1 table. It means it will override the existing data that is available in T1. So I am using insert override. Override basically used to override the existing data that is available on the table, and it will be insert the data from the table by which you are inserting the data. So now I have executed the query and it has given me error because name is not available in my table, that is T3. So let's take an example of other table. Select star from, let me see what values are there in T2 table. So in the T2 table I have ID and name, that is True and Sam. So you can see it has only one value. So if I give the reference of T2, when I use insert override, then only one record would get inserted, or you can say overwritten, in the T1 table. So I am using the same command. I am just changing the query from which I am taking the values. So I am taking the values from T2 table. So let's execute this command. So now you can see my query is executed. Earlier, because name column was not there in my T3 column, that's why it has given the error that column reference, or you can say invalid table column. So now because T2 has the same schema, that is ID or name, so it is giving me no error while executing this query. So now my mapper and reducer job is executed. So if I query again, select star from T1, so it will show only one record because T2 has only one record. So now you can see T1 has updated, or you can say overwritten the value. Earlier we have two record in the T1, but now because we have taken a reference from T2 table, so it has overwritten all the values and just inserted whatever values are there in T1 in the T2 table. So whatever values are there in T2, it is inserted in T1. So we can see that insert into is the simple command by which we just insert a value in the table that is appended every time when you execute the command. But when you execute the override command, then it will override the existing value and insert the new value, whatever is the reference from the table. If you wanted, you can give the where clause also, like if you wanted any condition to be executed, so you can give here like where ID or name, whatever you want, you can just give the condition like this. So you can override the values with existing table values by using any condition as you want in your table. In this session we have seen how we can insert and override the values in the table and what is the difference between these two queries available.